Hello there, you're very welcome back to the Lads Podcast. This is episode 2. I'm Daragh.
And I'm Steve. Hello, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
That's good. I'm fine, thanks for asking.
Oh, good, yeah, good to hear. So, this week we're going to speak about dating, the kind of history of dating, modern dating, the future.
And matchmaking as well, because dating itself is kind of, it is what it is.
Yes.
But matchmaking is kind of how you get, before you get to the date, you need to be matched with someone.
That's it. And it's also a new enough term, which we'll get onto later.
Oh, is it?
The term dating. Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of like teenager. Mm-hmm. But anyway, before we get onto that, we just want to say a very, very sincere thank you to everyone who watched us or listened to us last week.
Yeah, we appreciate it. It's very sound of them.
It was grand, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
You know what I mean? Fair play.
Yeah. I had a very slight bit of a banger at the start of the week, kind of Monday, like when we were releasing everything. It's kind of like, oh God, here we go. Like, they're just kind of...
What do you mean a banger now?
You
had a full-on heart attack, like.
I did. Bounce
Jesus.
back.
Who resuscitated you?
Resuscitated myself.
Fair play, yeah.
Look at me, come on.
I know, big man, like. He is a tank, like.
Yeah, but no, like, more so kind of just a bit concerned about, like, the workload of not only, like, doing a weekly podcast, because the amount of time it took to do it and edit it and the sketches. I was like, oh God, what am I getting myself into? So I had a very small existential crisis in the morning, but then...
Then you got over it.
I got over it.
Yeah, you just fucking get over it, isn't it?
And
I'll sit back and I'll just turn up on...
You just show up. Show up. Oh, look, everything's here.
No, seriously though, thanks to everyone who was... who were sharing little clips that we were releasing on the Instagram page. And that's the best way we can grow, especially from early days, is by you guys like sharing those little clips we upload. And
I think the best way for any podcast is word of mouth.
Yeah, exactly. That was the other thing.
I know it's early days, and that's the thing. Like, it's his only podcast number 2. It's like, they're going to give up by 4.
Yeah, well,
maybe 5.
Once we get to 7, as we said.
When we get 7.
Then we're never fucking stopping.
Ever.
Then it's just going like. So that's correct.
Steve, other than that, how was your week? We're going to do a little bit of foreplay before we get straight into the fucking,
We're going to... So, yeah, my week was alright.
And it's kind of relevant because, dating,
foreplay. Yeah, foreplay, yeah. We're going to fuck.
On the podcast.
We're not. We could. I mean... We won't, but...
We shouldn't.
It's even bad, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Come here, though. My week was grand. Actually, I spent a lot of it with you, so this is really...
I was thinking that.
I have to act like I'm talking to you, but really I'm just talking to... But I don't want to look at the camera. That would be way too jarring.
Camera?
Oh, sorry. Are we not... Oh, yeah. No, what are you on about? There's no such thing. What's a fucking camera?
I just work here, man.
Fuck.
Yeah, I had a good week as well. Thanks for asking.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I haven't got to ask you because I haven't got to tell you what I did.
What'd you do?
I went to foot golf. You were there.
I was. Yeah, lads, you ever go to foot golf? And I mean this sincerely. Like, it's basically golf with a soccer ball, and it's horrible.
It's not. It's grey crack.
It is. If you're not physically inclined like myself, it's horrible. Like, only today, it's been 5 days. We're recording this on the Friday, and only today, I now my muscles are less in pain, less pulled. But yeah, that was fine.
You said if you're not physically inclined, like I would think physically inclined.
Yeah.
But I found it fucking, as in, well, I guess I never kick a football, and that was the problem.
Yeah.
I thought my knee, when I woke up Tuesday morning after it, from kicking a ball, like from dead stop, all for fucking 2.5 hours.
It's tough.
I thought my knee, and I can't kick a ball anyway, because I'm useless, you know what I mean?
You are.
But I am. But I thought my knee was going to fucking pop out of place, so...
So yeah, okay, that's enough chit chat aside. You're probably like, come on, I clicked on this podcast, I want to hear about the history of matchmaking and dating, and these guys are just chatting shit about foot golf and sore knees.
Oh, good old sore knees.
But before we do, we just want to give a quick Patreon plug. We'll be doing this every week, sorry about that. But first of all, actually, I want to give a shout out. Relax. I want to give a shout out to our first patrons. We have Aaron and Rachel, who decided to give us money. It's just a small...
Thank you, Aaron and Rachel.
Thank you, Aaron and Rachel.
Sound.
If anyone else wants to join them and become patrons of our podcast, so the two of us, we're patreon.com/the lads podcast. €2 a month, €5 a month, €50 a month.
A grand.
A grand.
We're expecting it, lads, so you'd want to just cough up.
Just cough up, all right? Okay? But no, in all seriousnness, I know it's early days, so for the first few, I'm going to be like, look, we're not going to force you. There's no gun to the head yet.
But there will be down the line.
The
gun's coming down the line,
see
lads.
It coming towards you, like. We appreciate your support, but no bother. All right, go on. We'll talk about it in the morning. So, dating, Steve, I suppose, matchmaking, all that fun stuff. So we'll start off in the modern day. What's the worst thing you've ever said on a date?
I'm not prepared to say. What's the worst thing you've ever said on a date, Daragh? See? It's not nice, is it?
I can't think. Modern dating. Steve, how do people get dates nowadays? Genuinely.
I just want to say you're asking the wrong person.
How does one get... So let's say you're an alien that landed on the planet Earth, and the first thing you've done is...
You need to get a date.
No, you're listening to the Lads podcast.
Oh yeah, well of course, you pop on the Lads first. You go up to someone and go, give me your AirPods there, in your dialect.
Yeah.
In your alien
and
dialect.
they just
and they go,
understand
oh,
you.
AirPods, yeah, go on. Here you go.
It's cross-dimensional, AirPods,
So the alien puts his AirPods on.
Start listening to the
or hers.
Lads podcast, and I don't know where I was going with this.
No, this is good. This is good. Keep this going.
Oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna try that joke again. So you're an alien, you crash land on Earth, and you're like, oh shit, I need a date.
Yeah.
So
What's the first thing you do?
you listen to the Lads podcast
Yeah.
because they, were there dating. They're like, these guys know what they're talking about, obviously.
And you do it anyway.
They listen to the Lads podcast on.
Yeah, you just go steal a pair of AirPods.
So, and then,
Throw it on.
throw on the Lads podcast.
And then we're talking about dating, yeah?
Yeah. So
then they've
all right,
listened
so for our viewers and any extraterrestrial viewers, Steve, how do people get dates nowadays?
I guess online is like the one really now, isn't it?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Do you want to elaborate? Or?
No, just...
You just go into Google.
You go on Google and you
Google date.
Yeah, date.
And then someone comes up.
And then you find those fruits, pitted dates, you eat them. Did you like that?
Right, the
so with
podcast
that, the podcast is finally done.
The podcast is over.
Back.
We finished the podcast. Sorry to all our new patrons.
You have to keep subscribing the whole time.
Just answer the fucking question. How does someone get a date nowadays, Steve?
Someone gets a date by a few options, Daragh.
Okay, please tell us these options,
So you
Steve.
have the more traditional methods where you might meet a man or a woman, okay, via a friend, okay, a mutual friend.
What if you don't have a friend?
Well, you're just fucked, aren't you? But no, we'll get on to that option in a second. Just let me finish the first option first there, bud. So yeah, you might meet someone via a mutual friend. That's always nice. Then it's easy to breaks the ice, start chatting.
Okay.
And then you go, here, do you want to go on a date? Straight away.
You're like, this is my friend's funeral.
Yeah, and you go, yeah, date though,
Yeah, come on.
Lighten the mood, Yeah, so that's one option. You say that's someone at a funeral. The other option is the best one, which for me anyway, I need to be fairly sloshed. By sloshed I mean drunk.
Okay.
Or something. So you might lock eyes with someone across the room. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you're just drunk in your house.
I just start staring at someone, and they're like, "Oh fuck!"
So it could be anyone in your house.
Yeah,
I don't really like this. It's kind of incestuous. I'm not the biggest fan of this.
No, in a pub.
In a pub.
In a social setting.
In a social setting.
Which in Ireland means a pub because that's all we fucking have.
There's nothing else.
It's the only socially acceptable place to set your social life.
Sure.
Yeah, and also there's alcohol involved, so that makes this one easy. Oh, dancing. Dancing is a big one. I can't dance. So
out on the street?
No, in a pub. We're still in the pub, Daragh. We're in the pub. Can you just let me fucking talk about the pub? No. I missed the pub. All right. So look, you just go up to someone and just say, how's it going? And you just hope for the best. And then the third option.
Jeez, why hadn't I ever tried that?
I know, boy. And then the third option, right, is the internet. Dating apps. Well, dating websites have been going on for years.
That's where we kind of start. I think Match.com in the late 90s was the first. Yeah, the film, written down. You've Got Mail starring Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah. Good old Tom Hanks.
Yeah, like it's a little rom-com from the late 90s, but I think it was the first mainstream acknowledgement of online dating. What?
Wasn't it?
You go on the computer?
Yeah. And did it seem a bit kind of weird, like, oh, you're meeting someone on the internet.
And I think I haven't seen the movie. I've just kind of like read about it, but like I think it's like kind of half anonymous. They know each other's names, but I don't think they know. I haven't seen the film. I haven't seen You've Got Mail. I can't talk about it.
All right, but let's talk about real life for a second. Yes. Let's get out of Tom Hanks films now.
Oh damn!
Stop talking about Toy Story and all of the likes.
That'll be a later podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about Toy Story.
The filmography of Tom Hanks.
Yeah. That'd be good, actually.
It would actually. You were saying booze, right? That's a big thing in Ireland. Well, I suppose it's just the Western world, the world we know.
Yeah.
In Ireland, right? So, okay, let's say you can't, do any of the things I mentioned above. Have you ever heard of Listún Varna?
I have.
I was really up in that. Obviously, Matchmaking Festival.
Still going on. Still
Still
strong.
going on. It's been going on for 160 years.
Stop.
Swear to God.
Oh, it's one of the oldest matchmaking, not the oldest, but one of the older matchmaking things that's still running. Like
exactly. It's been going on for donkey's years. So Willie Daly, he's like I think the last matchmaker in Ireland, and this is where like he's just like, you know, everyone just like flocks around him, and he's just like, you and you're together.
You look like you like each other.
Yeah, and he's been alive for 160 years.
Oh, has he? Yeah. So he started it when he was, you know, a year old, and now he's 161.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's barely aged.
He's just born to do it, but yeah.
He says he's matched over 3,000 people. And I was just watching a little video on him, and right, you know, he's just talking about the history and the festival. And mainly it's just a festival, you know, for a bit of booze, but still matchmaking, bit of crack.
Hey, but booze often leads to a bit of dates, you know.
That's literally what he says. Courting. It's people are like, oh, how does it work? He was just like, booze.
Man, if you counted all the kind of dates, or well, I'm kind of going not just by dates, because maybe dates is something a bit more official, we'll say. But any times I've scored with someone,
okay,
I'd say most of them are booze orientated.
See, I'm talking more about matchmaking and dating. Now, there's scoring and nights out. That's its own like circle in the Venn diagram.
That's before dating. You know what I mean?
But that's an anomaly. You might shift someone on a night out and that's it. Never see them again.
Yeah, exactly. Most of the time.
Die.
But then, but then after, obviously, if you kind of say, "Oh, I'd like to see you again," it's kind of it becomes a date, maybe.
Has that ever happened for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Fair enough.
But
fair play. Me speaking personally, is I think I found the majority of my dates since I became an adult was through Tinder. To be honest, because it launched on the 12th of September 2012, and I think I downloaded it when I was 19, so that's 2014? Yeah, I downloaded it 2 years after it came out, and that's when kind of everyone started joining it.
Yeah.
And I it's actually a minority of dates I've been on was through friends of friends or just meeting someone. Yeah. That's kind of the state of modern dating, you know, bits and bobs.
Oh, yeah.
The past. How far back will we go?
So the Big Bang.
That was when the first date happened.
That was a date itself.
I suppose
the Big
technically
Bang. Big Bang, huh?
The Big Bang,
the
like
world started with
the Good Bang.
Big ride. The Good Bang.
The Big Ride.
Big Ride.
That's what it is.
When we call the Big Bang the Good Ride.
The Good Ride.
Right. The lads podcast has just coined that term. If anyone fucking takes it, I'll fucking kill you.
There's a lot of murder threats in this podcast.
There is. So anyway, back to the murder podcast.
So anyway, yeah. So we'll skip ahead a couple of billion years, right? Okay. And so what I was doing when I was looking into this, I find a good way to get an idea of a period of time is look at the zeitgeist of so like, you know, books and plays and movies and whatnot. So I think that, like, from my research, I was finding little moments over the centuries. Look, I just watched a YouTube video. It told me all of this.
I just read the Wikipedia page.
I just read the Wikipedia page. I didn't.
You watched the video? Oh, that's so good. That's what I'm going to do that next week.
Yeah. 1761 in Amsterdam, there was a book called Julie, whatever you want to pronounce it. So the French romantic author Jean-Jacques Rousseau. I'm not good with French pronunciations.
Some man.
It was the fastest selling book of all time. Well, at the time, I assume there's been better books.
Probably
you know,
still is.
Harry Potter, Chamber of Secrets. You know? Julie is from an aristocratic family, right? And she's expected to marry someone of her standing, right? It was this whole setup, arranged marriages. But she falls in love with her teacher, you know, as you do. And
as you do.
They can't get married because, you know, he's poor. Well, no, because he's poor.
Yeah.
And like there's no happy ending. It's just kind of like, you know,
grim times.
But like I find so 1761, even around that time, it's still like arranged setups. You know, you couldn't just go out to your local pub and your Tinder. Like we have it fucking easy.
Yeah.
Back then, your family would be like, hey, he's a doctor. You'll marry him, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? How like I guess courtship back in the day was arranged.
And on that, right, courtship, right? You always had to have a chaperone. You couldn't. So skip ahead a bit more. So in 1892, there was a comedic play called Charlie's Aunt.
Yeah.
Charlie invites Kitty on a date, but his aunt can't make it. So Charlie gets one of the boys to dress up as his aunt. and comes along on the date.
That's genius.
And so this is just coming into the 19th century, the very end. So like you can see kind of at that time it's kind of slowly moving away from that old school, chaperone. But that was kind of it for a good while. Like
that's it, yeah.
Because and you know why? Because one, I'm getting too intimate, sinning.
No, literally though, yeah. I think because you said 1892.
1892, yeah.
Yeah, because
fine year.
Do you know where apparently this could be bullshit?
Okay.
Again, don't hold us accountable for any shit we see. But I did read this on the internet.
Then it's true.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, listen on the lads podcast. It's true. Read it on the internet.
That's
it's true. Make it up. It's true. But the word date apparently was coined inadvertently by a columnist for the Chicago Record. So I looked at a lot of American stuff.
I read that a lot myself.
Yeah,
especially back
I get
in
it
the
delivered actually still. Yeah, the old editions from 1896 and all that. But it was a column about working class lives. And there was a clerk or something named Artie. I'll get it here. Oh yeah, Artie's girlfriend was losing interest in him and beginning to see other men socially. When Artie confronts his fate in love, he says, I suppose the other boys fill in all my dates.
Did
you see that?
No, I think I came across that.
That means it's true.
It's like let's fill up the dates in the calendar.
Yeah, literally. So
That's it.
I guess that's where the term. I'd like that could be another one of those things that it's like, oh, how can we be sure that's true? But it sounds about right, doesn't it?
Look, if it sounds true, it is.
If you like the sound of it, it's true. Like even just to jump forward. Do you want to jump forward a bit more?
Tear ahead.
And talk about how
forward now more.
Well, I guess to 20th century maybe.
Oh no! I will.
Oh, go on. Stay in the late 19th, early 20th.
So we'll jump ahead only a couple of years to 1913. So there's a book called Youth's Encounter, and it was one of the first novels published in England about unsupervised adolescent dating and riding.
Oh, Jesus.
So that was a big hit, controversial book because it was unsupervised riding.
Oh my God.
I know. God wasn't watching, or maybe
God.
he was.
I forgot about God. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's he getting on?
I don't know. I haven't heard about it. He hasn't texted me back in a while.
Yeah. Well, you haven't prayed in a while either, have you?
I actually haven't. Yeah.
You
Praying is just
you ghosted God.
Praying is just texting God, lads.
It is like,
Have you texted God?
I can't wait for the church to open up a service where you text God, or a primary school. if the primary school, if Ireland was still as kind of religious as it was.
I'm sure the national schools are, I guess.
Yeah, but I think a bit less.
Okay.
From what experience I've had being in primary schools. Just disclaimer, I've taught karate in primary schools. That's what I'm talking about. But it's way different to. It was still even when we were kids. It wasn't that long ago. It felt very
4 years ago.
Yeah,
because we're 14.
We are. Yeah,
I just aged really badly.
But I guarantee, if there was phones and all that when we were kids, if technology was as advanced, if technology, get it out of you. I guarantee, if technology had been as advanced as now, right? But religion hadn't been died out as much. No, it's not. It's died out.
Class, have you all texted God now?
I guarantee that would have been a thing. Teachers would have set up this WhatsApp group
with God,
and they'd be like, "This is how you pray now."
Would they have impersonated God and be like,
"No,
thanks,
I'd say no. He doesn't. God didn't reply to me, miss. God doesn't reply.
He leaves you on scene.
He listens and he lives right next to you. He's everywhere." As we always heard.
He leaves you unseen. That was a fun tangent.
That was good, yeah.
Fun fact about that book, I think it was Orson Welles. I didn't write it down. I think he got
the director of Citizen Kane.
Sure.
And the writer and the star. I think
he was reading that when he was a kid and he got caught and smacked in the bottom or something he got that book because it was dirty, smutty.
And then he said, "Fuck you, Dad. I'm gonna make Citizen Kane the best movie ever."
And he was only 11. The dad was like, what? As you kind of get further on, I think, I don't have I didn't write down the year. I think to some point in the mid to late then 20th century, the FDA, in America, the Food and Drugs Administration, they created the first female contraception pill, and condoms were made at some stage as well.
When was that? 20th century?
Sure.
All right. Cool. Go on.
And then kind of actually 1998. So we're kind of
1998.
1998. Yeah,
okay.
We've kind of come full circle. Remember I was saying You've Got Mail, that film.
Tom Hanks.
Good man, sound man. Hasn't texted me back either. No one's texting me back.
Well, he's got coronavirus.
He's beating it.
I know, he still has it by 3 months later.
Oh, poor man.
He's still isolating in Australia.
Anyway, speed dating was invented in 1998. We don't think about that, and that's obviously when you take a load of speed and go on a date. Imagine that, like, just everyone at the table, like, who are you going to go? Yeah, have a good time.
So what's the crack anyway?
Yeah, never seen that one.
Yeah.
Speed dating. Have you ever gone speed dating?
Have you ever taken speed in a date? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah.
It's something that I'm sure I'll never do.
Yeah.
I might.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, legitimate speed dating.
Yeah, I know.
When you just kind of all sit around and you rotate table and you just get like a minute to like chat about yourself.
I'd say, yeah, I don't know though. I'd say.
I don't know if you've bought. Well, then again, it's nice. You see, the thing is,
I'd say
Tinder. You might say, oh, but use Tinder. But the Tinder, you don't have the face-to-face thing. Whereas, imagine
the thing.
like this right now. This is the speed date. You're
Yeah.
recording. So you sit down and you start recording a podcast with someone.
You're on the spot and it's like obviously it's a bit anxiety inducing.
Yeah, but like
that's
you can,
that's the thing about Tinder. It's like you have that nice barrier to be like, right, I can think of an open line there for a fucking.
But that's
a
not
day.
like real life.
I
Real
know.
life is you get thrown into it. It's not real. You shouldn't have 3 weeks to decide on an opening
yeah.
line. You need to be able to be like, yeah, this is me. If you're awkward, you're awkward. That's part of the charm. That's part of the.
Yeah, exactly. That is so. There's definitely a lot of. I know Tinder is like, yeah, because a lot of from what I'm reading, like a lot like the old way to the most common way people met each other was like workplace actually, or else to a friend. It was always that way for the last kind of century.
Yeah.
But online, like it hasn't. Well, it's probably taken over by now, but from what I was reading, it's like, it's definitely on the way to taking over.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be the main form of meeting
Especially
this.
now.
Like, when I was in early college, like, I didn't really go on Tinder much. I had it, but I didn't use it much. Most of the time I was, when I was pulling or whatever, you know, it was just nights out, just drinking, just being like, how's it going? Just chatting, you know.
And your prefrontal cortex hadn't fully developed.
As we spoke about last week, the thing in your brain.
Yeah, I think that
assesses risk and fear and
that's the thing.
and all that. Whereas I didn't care before. Now I'm like, but what if I get rejected? You know,
I think I noticed the day that finished developing because I stopped taking any kind of risks. Like jump off that wall. No, it's a bit high. I might hurt myself.
Yeah.
Talk to that girl. Oh, it's a bit high. I might hurt myself. You know, I just
very good.
very witty.
Very witty.
Okay, so we know kind of where it comes from, what it developed into, what dating is now. But where do we go next? By what's the next step?
I'd say it's just going to be less in person and more online. I don't think it's going to be anything jarring though. I think it'll just become the main form.
Here's something I've been thinking about. So like when online dating, you know, came about, that was, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, that's weird. Only weirdos
exactly.
are on that,
so
right?
That's sad.
And then but then Tinder normalized it.
That's the thing. Yeah, then it
became gamified.
Yeah,
it was just a
socially
game
effective.
you had on your phone, but you could actually go on dates. So that normalized it. So things that we think are really weird now in 5 years will just be, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
But it's when things start out, they're a bit odd, right? Here's a fun one. This is something I found, right? What do you think of? What comes to mind when I say DNA matchmaking?
23andMe, spit into a fucking envelope, send it off, and
you're not far off.
Fuck off.
Yeah, and there you go, because that's already in the kind of your back of your head.
There you go, it's gonna happen.
Well, we already have Ancestry.com and all those places, 23andMe, where you spit in a jar, you send it to,
you find out who's related to it. You find out that Tom Hanks is actually related to you.
Yeah, whereas this time, right?
See that, lads? We brought it back full circle.
This time you spit in a jar, right? And then you send it off, and then now you find your most compatible match is Tom Hanks.
Yes. Or someone related to you.
Oh, no, imagine. No, but
how the fuck can you determine your compatible match by your spit?
Well,
I don't know anything about DNA.
Well, good thing you
looked into it. Go on,
brother.
Let's go.
Okay, so like, there's a dating app at the moment called Pheromore, right? It's a mixture of social alignment, which is what we kind of do anyway, or where we are socially. We don't get with the rich elites,
Yeah,
but
more politically minded is more.
Sure, and physical chemistry, which is what it looks into a little bit more. So, so the company analyzes the HLA gene. Did I write down what that means? No.
It's grand.
It's grand.
It's called the HLA gene.
There's a bit of research done into it over the last couple of decades. It's as far as I'm aware, it's kind of a gene that, I don't know, compatibility, sex, who knows.
Okay.
In the 1970s, researchers found that inbred male mice preferred to mate with, this is a weird one, female mice with a different HLA gene, the mice version of that gene. For
opposite HLA genes attract.
Yeah. So it's kind of this like genetic opposites attract. So if someone has an opposite HLA gene to you, you're more physically, sexually compatible, okay?
Okay.
And then in the 1990s, there was the body odor test. So this is where 49 women were recruited to sniff sweaty, unwashed t-shirts from 44 men, or what we would call modern day, going to a club. And they then described, the odor of each shirt, and the study found that the women preferred the scents of t-shirts worn by men who were immunologically, I got it, different from them and had similar HLA genes, right?
Cool.
So in this case, HLA, oh God, science. Anyway,
this is hard.
Couples who had more dissimilar HLA genes reported a more satisfied sex life and a satisfied partnership.
Oh, yeah.
So on a real physical level, HLA genes and DNA comes into it. But I'm like, oh, that's all well and good. So, you get this match and you're matched with someone who has, gene says you're going to have class sex.
Class sex.
But then, what happens if they're a racist?
There you go. Oh God, that's a real weird.
Nobody wants to fuck a racist.
You heard it here first.
That's it.
But that's like, but that's always a bit of it. Sometimes you are really physically and like lustful of someone, but like you really don't have their same kind of
yeah, and or
the same
polar
mindset
opposite
of them, or you know what I mean. And it's like, oh, this is never going to work. But Jesus, I really would love to bang you.
Yeah, yeah, or the complete opposite, in which you get on, you're like, oh my God, we're meant to be,
but
then
you're not that sexually compatible.
There
like,
you go.
that happens.
Horoscopes.
Yes, Sagittarius.
So that's something that's happening right now, and I'd say in 5 to 10 years that will just be the absolute norm. You spit in your cup, your Tinder cup, and not only will they just you'll match someone on how. See, yeah, Tinder's just a game. It's just, oh, that person is good looking. You don't know anything about them. There's no actual compatibility. It is just a video game. Whereas other websites is actually like algorithms. They're like your interests. So eventually I think fucking Rick and Morty probably did it. Oh yeah, Pickle Rick. No, I think Rick and Morty did an episode on it. But there will be essentially kind of apps and stuff in which it'll be okay, you find them good looking. Yeah. You have the same, let's say, political alignments, and your personalities are really matched up well. So we think you'll be good pals, and due to your DNA,
you want to have sex with them.
So in theory, in 50 years, you just spit into a cup, you fill out a survey, and then Mary there up in Clare is your perfect match. The science proves it, boy. No
enough.
more pub.
Fair. The pubs will then close.
Yeah, pubs will just be, oh fuck.
Oh fuck. First COVID, now spit cup date. HLA.
That's it, lads. You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
I like that. No, that's kind of interesting.
Isn't that cool?
Do you know, I'm not too against it either.
I'm not, because I'm so shit at social interaction.
It's nice and easy. But you know how you mentioned about did you mention that Tinder is like a game?
It is.
Well, how about this one?
Okay.
Dating is a game.
Oh, it's all a game, boy. It's all a game, bro.
I saw a thing by I just came across a quote by an what the fuck's it called?
Anthropologist?
Yes, anthropologist. Helen Fisher. Forgive me if that's wrong, Helen. I know you're listening to the podcast, Helen.
To the lads' podcast.
I know she is
She is.
But so Helen Fisher suggested that dating is a game designed to impress and capture. Which is not about honesty, but it's about novelty, excitement, and even danger, because that can boost some dopamine hit.
Is it? So you're saying, is it kind of training you?
I think what she was basically saying is that you're never really your honest self when you're going on a date, are you?
Not at all. Absolutely not.
Exactly. So you're not really yourself. It's very hard to be. Some people probably are, and that's probably when you make a very good match, when two people are themselves with each other. But it doesn't happen often. But I think and it's, I really believe what she's saying is you're putting on this version of yourself, your ideal self, so that you impress the other person. And that could go on between two people for a few months, maybe even years. You wouldn't know. And then they realize, fuck, we're actually not really compatible at all. What the fuck are we married for?
And then
so I thought that was interesting. Yeah, so if you have that kind of awareness, maybe.
And sure, by 50% of marriages end up in divorce anyway. So what's the point?
What's the point? Is right.
What's the fucking point, huh?
As I say, I don't mean to give you advice, because we're both losers who don't go on dates.
We started a podcast. It says enough.
Yeah, exactly. Two guys in their 20s starting a podcast.
Why aren't you out riding women?
You should be out getting your halls, shouldn't you?
Nah.
You should be out getting your halls. Getting your big good ride, big bang. But fucking so I thought that was kind of interesting. And wouldn't it be great if you had that kind of awareness the whole time? It might, hopefully, I'm still hoping that's how I'll find a good match sometime.
You will, boy. I believe in you.
Thanks,
brother. Look at that face, boys. Look at it. Even the people listening on Spotify, look at it.
Look at it.
Close your eyes
Why
and
aren't
look
you
at
looking
it.
at my face? Imagine my face.
So, yeah, we're at the stage of the podcast where we won't ask you now because that doesn't make sense. You're listening to a podcast, while you're cutting the grass, driving the lawnmower, and
Driving the lawnmower.
Driving the lawnmower down to the shop.
That's the job.
And but we ask you during the week beforehand. Can anyone contribute any stories? So we reach out during the week. And did anyone get back to us? About 3 people did.
There was more than 3. Well, a lot just said hi.
Lad, a few people just said hi, and that's fine.
That's all right.
That's fine. Hello.
How's it going?
How are you?
This is us replying to you.
Yeah. Here's a fun one. Someone wrote in, and I didn't grab their name, but I at least screenshotted.
Maybe they don't want
question.
their name mentioned. Do you know?
Fair enough. Okay, so this is a quote. So my dad loves to tell a story about my mum giving him a 50. It means being stood up in Cork.
What's giving him a 50?
It means being stood up in Cork.
Does it?
Well, that's what she said.
She gave me a 50.
Yeah. So listen, because
That's mad.
Because only 50% of the couple turned up. Love this, and she said, "Love this phrase, pre-phone, so no way to contact." Oh, so I think what you're saying is that, like, sure, man, now you can be like, "Where are you? Where are you? Are you there? You're on the court. Is that you over there? Look up." Look up, I'm waving at you, Whereas now it's a case of, I'll see you Friday down the shop at 8:30.
Yeah, and if you're not there, how long do you wait? I don't know, it's before our time, but I guess half an hour, maybe an hour.
Yeah, and maybe the quote is that like only 50% of people actually showed up. I'd say that was a big thing, You'd be nerves, cold feet,
Cold feet, and how do you tell them,
You agree to go on a date with someone and you're pissed drunk, and the day comes around, you're like, oh fuck, I don't want to meet him. Jesus Christ.
That's very interesting.
Isn't it?
I kind of like that. They also, a jag, I saw someone else wrote in, a jag is Cork slang for a date. It is. My dad uses that word, a jag. He literally will say, you going jagging? And
really?
I'm like, get out of 1985, boy.
I remember jagging in secondary school to us was just shifting. Are you jagging?
I'd say that was like, that was someone trying really hard to change it. Because remember, in Cork now, where we are down south of Ireland, we used to refer to shifting, which, by the way, if you happen to be an international listener, which I know there's none of you.
There's none.
Just by...
We don't have any...
French kissing.
Steve, we don't have any national listeners.
That's true,
We don't have any listeners.
We don't, boy. Yeah. Just our folks. But, we used to say meeting, which was the worst way to describe a kiss.
Are you meeting her?
Meeting
her. No, we're meeting. What?
You're meeting. No, you met him. You met her. Oh god.
Shift is way better.
And shift was always around the country, and then Cork took it last.
Had to be fucking.
We took it last, and we started eventually. We gave in, and we said, "All right, shift." But jagging was apparently a Cork one back in our folks' time. The fuck's a jag? What does jag mean? As in, like.
Okay, so someone else wrote it and said, I hear good things about carbon dating. Goes back a load of years, apparently. Whoever you are, I'm going to find you. And how dare you tell jokes on my podcast?
And in line with the rest of the podcast, we're going to kill you.
Apparently we're murderers now. Alleged. Any more audience contribution there now, Steve?
There's one here that says, can you believe people will start dating robots in the future? That happened, didn't it?
Did it?
I saw something on Twitter.
Oh, that's
Your man married his robot gave birth and all that, and it was all over the place.
You mean
not really gave birth?
Is that Elon Musk and his robot baby?
Oh yeah, it was actually. No, it was, I don't know. You know the way sex robots and stuff?
Yeah.
You know the way they're becoming You sounded very afraid there.
I know we kind of wrapped up the future, but at the same time...
There's that side of it too we haven't talked about.
There is, yeah.
It's worth talking about for a few minutes.
Sure, yeah. I guess, so like, sex robots are becoming a thing.
Oh, like as in really...
AI is becoming a thing.
There you go, and they look and they're, like there's a lot of AI that is getting very, very realistic.
Yeah.
And there's... obviously a lot of sex robots, unless the AI just starts taking over and becomes sentient
and kills the person.
And kills them. You know what? Yeah,
sure.
That's what they get.
Okay.
That's what they get for fucking robots, huh?
That's it. And the robots rise up and be like, "Stop riding me!
Stop fucking me!"
Even though that's what it was created for.
For riding.
Yeah.
Were they?
The riding...
the riding robot.
The riding robot.
Do you remember the episode of Rick and Morty when he's riding the
Pickle
robot?
Rick. That's the funniest thing.
Everything is coming full circle today. Good thing about dating is like... Because, we spoke about the history and, arranged marriage, and that's how it was. And then in the kind of 20th century, dating became more of a popular thing.
Did
Jesus, we could have really talked about this for another hour if we wanted to.
Yeah,
But we're kind of at that mark now where we got to wrap
niche
things up.
tight podcast,
Yeah.
fun, because a lot of the podcast is serious research, but like we want it to be a little bit,
Bit of crack, like.
bit of piss being taken,
Exactly. As we said last week, we want this to be about ye watching us have a conversation or listening to us have a conversation, but you are not allowed fucking speak.
Do not say a fucking word.
You sit there and you enjoy it, right?
Until we ask for your contribution, then please say something.
Yeah, please, because
Please,
we're really
God.
stuck for something here.
Oh
like.
God, please. Yeah.
No, it's a nice breakaway from marriage because from arranged marriage like before because
Sure.
like in fairness, as much as dating evolves, like social rules around dating like vary a lot according to variables like what country you're in or social class or race or religion, gender, age, sexual orientation. And the main thing about dating is behavior patterns are like there's no rules. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's never is a rule. It's like it's very unwritten and it's constantly changing according to all those factors.
So like what you're saying is like, anything can be a date.
Yeah, exactly. Like what's a date to you? It could be anything.
I think
Could we go for a spin?
I think the only box you have to tick for it to be a date is that we're both somewhat sexually attracted to each other or
Yeah.
romantically.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're
Yes.
just meeting up with a friend. But then,
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh yeah, lunch
Yeah.
date with the gals."
Yeah, yeah.
At the same time, you see, it's just language, man.
Yeah, true.
But
Yeah,
we're saying it in the kind of like, the matchmaking, the romantic, sexual side of things.
It's funny how we actually have to.
Then
we
again,
nearly have to-
I was on a date once, and the word date was never said.
It never is though. It's never trying to go on a date. Not here anyway.
Well, sometimes
Do
you'd
you
be like,
wanna meet
"Oh, it's a date," or
go
like,
for-
"Are we a good date?"
do you want to go for a stroll?
want to go for a spin.
Do you want to go for a stroll? Do you want to go for a spin?
Want to go for a shift. But no, genuine. I went
Do you
on
want to fuck?
I went on a date before, but the word date was never used. There was never any sexy crack. There was no shifting on the date.
Was this the one date you were on?
Yes.
Okay.
And then now this was my one date.
Okay.
And it wasn't a date. I thought it was a date. I hope she thought it was a date. Well, obviously not, because nothing happened. I miss you.
It's still, you don't have to kiss on a date, boy.
No, you don't.
You don't.
But then
I've went
again,
on dates and I haven't even kissed.
Was
a
it
girl,
just
boy.
two people meeting up for some pints, technically?
But there you go, because that's why it is matchmaking and date, and they become separate. Because, like you said, that like people will now say,
Well,
"Oh, I was on a lunch date with the gals," or "I was on."
but dating, dating is matchmaking in a sense. It's seeing if we are a match.
It is. I'm just looking to.
Just relax.
I'm just looking to
calm down.
I'm just looking for a bit of a take there. Like
Take your deep breaths.
take your vitamins.
Take your vitamin C. Pickle Rick.
It's the funny. All right, what you reckon?
What you reckon about what?
Will we fuck off?
Will we fuck
Is
off?
that enough?
Thank you so much for listening to the second episode of the Lads Podcast. We hope we entertained you, and not just entertain. Maybe you learned something new. About maybe the HLA gene. Pickle Rick.
Or the Big Bang. The first ever.
The good
orgasm.
ride. Was that it?
The good ride.
was
the first orgasm.
It was the first orgasm.
That's it. Yeah.
Let's hope you got something out of it, whether you learned something or you had a good time.
Yes.
We will be back here at the exact same time next week, on your phone, in your ears, in your life.
In your house.
Always.
Thank you for being.
I love you.
Will you go on a date with me?
No.
Audience. Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Thanks.
I have a boyfriend.
Oh, do you?
It's you.
Oh, yeah.
I love you.
Oh, cool. Right.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the Lads Podcast. Tell your friends. Give us money. Please.
You don't have to give us money, lads.
don't have to give us money.
Seriously though, do please share it around. Please talk about it and tell people about it. Mainly sharing it around is the best way. And telling
Look,
people
we'll start
it's
off
class.
with the close circle. Share it into the group chat. Send it to one of the boys, one of the gals. Send it to your nan.
It's no hassle. It takes 2 seconds, and come on,
give us
it's
50
free.
euro.
It's free until then you start giving us
Until the gun. Remember the gun.
Yeah,
Full
the gun.
circle.
It will happen. Right. I think that'll
All
do
right.
it. So
See you, Steve.
see you, Daragh.
See you, audience. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.